possible angles. With any of the objections, if you can just take some time to go through each of the ones that we mentioned and think about possible angles you could come from, it'll mean that when you need one of them, the right one will just pop into your mind. Now, in general, we often seem to have this thing where we think we know what other people are thinking, and 99% of the time we're completely wrong. And if we reply to an objection with the wrong idea about their problem, which is what we think their problem might be, then we're going to end up without a booking. So this is where chatting to people and getting to know them is important. So in an earlier session we did talk about getting to the party early and getting to know people and building some rapport. It's really important because then we'll get an idea of the things that might be in their mind. So if we need clarification, if we can't work it out, we need to find out why what they're saying is a problem for them, then we just simply need to ask. But don't just assume you know why people are saying what they are. So let's get some angles for I'm too busy. Here's some different angles that we could take. Now, busy people are more organized. They have the best parties because they know so many people to invite. Another angle is that busy people really do have trouble catching up with friends, and you could ask her how many people does she need to catch up with. So let's say maybe she needs to catch up with 10 people, and that's going to take at least 20 hours to see everybody individually, so doesn't it make more sense to do it all in one go? So really all she needs to do is find 3 hours and she'll catch up with everybody all at one time. Another option or another angle would be maybe you could bring supper. Then all she has to do is put the kettle on and you'll bring the biscuits. And another angle would be maybe a weekend would work better. So for this one objection, there are lots of ways to handle it depending on the situation and the person, but please don't use them all at once because that would be absolutely overkill and you'd look worse than, or you'd sound worse than someone that had just learned a technique. But you'll find that when you're actually in the situation, when you've taken some time to think about this beforehand, the right thing will pop into your mind and you'll be all good with it. Okay, so let's put that together. We're putting together the feel, felt, found without using feel, felt, found and using one of the angles for I'm too busy. So let's say the guest says, look, I'm so busy I couldn't possibly find time for a party. Then you get to say, I know what you mean. Life does get very full, doesn't it? It can be really hard to catch up with friends, and a party is often the perfect excuse to get everyone together in one place at one time. A good idea is to finish off the feel, felt, found with a question. So if you could find 3 hours to get everyone together, would you consider having a party? So there's a way of putting it all together, and we've used one of the possible angles. Now if they then say, well look, no, actually I don't want to have a party, then you would end up by saying something like, well look, that's fine, I hope you had a good time tonight. Would you like me to send you a brochure every now and again and just keep you up to date with what's going on? And then you get to leave on a positive note because she is going to say that she had a good time and she enjoyed the evening and she'll probably want to go on your mailing list. Of course, if the person says yes, then you go on to would a weeknight or a weekday suit you best and you start making the date. Now, don't forget that if someone is really saying no, there is absolutely no point in trying to talk them into it against their will. It's only going to end up in cancellations, and there are lots of other people who would love to host a party. You don't need to be desperate. I know that I've been through a time in my past when I was a fairly new consultant in party plan where I tried everything in the book to get people to book with me, and really in the end they only said yes to get rid of me and then they cancelled later. Now just note that in that last example I only used one of the possible angles and it's the one that would have felt most appropriate at the time. You can't use all of them, but you need to think of them so that you've got a bank to draw from. Now there were some other objections that we listed earlier and we can do the same with all of these. So my house is too small. Now when it comes to my house is too small, there are a couple of angles that I've got here, and you can think of others. We can't think of everything all at once. I just want to get you started with these. So a couple of angles would be that a smaller space is more intimate, which makes it more casual and relaxing. Or maybe she could team up with a friend and host together. With my husband won't let me have a party. Then another angle is maybe he could have a boys' night out while you have a party. Or maybe you could offer a Saturday morning because he could be at sport or spending time with the kids. Or you could ask if, is there anything that he might like, because as the host you could get it for free. So there's 3 different options there. I haven't got any friends, this is a little bit different. You have to be a little bit careful with this one. It's probably not appropriate to say something along the lines of, oh, you haven't got any friends, well, I know how you feel. That's possibly not the most appropriate response, because maybe she's got no friends in the district because she's new in the area, in which case you could take the angle of a party's a really good way to meet neighbours, to meet new people and meet neighbours. Or you could take the angle about that you know that she's got at least one friend because the person who invited her tonight's obviously her friend. So just tread a little bit carefully with that one. My friends won't buy anything. Now this one is, she's just really worried about the thing not working out, but you can take the angle of, how does she know that? Maybe they would be interested, but nobody's actually asked them. Or you could let her know that there isn't going to be any pressure, it'll be up to them, and we shouldn't really make decisions for other people. So those are the angles that you would then put into the feel, felt, found routine. Now the last one on the list is I don't do parties, which is one that comes up, and I think somebody mentioned that before when I was asking for ideas. Now this one is different because it's not really an objection. What you need to do with this one is find out what is underlying it. So if someone said this to me, I'd say something like, have you had a bad experience at a party? And then they would give me more information about why they don't do parties. So they might say something like, oh no, I haven't had a bad experience, I just don't think my friends will buy anything. And there you go, there's the real objection. Or they could say, if I asked them, have you had a bad experience, they could say, well, actually, yes, I have. The last party I went to, the consultant was really pushy. And then you've got a chance to be able to talk to her about that and maybe ask her, you know, did you think I was pushy? I hope you didn't think I was pushy. And then take that a little bit further about how you wouldn't be with her friends either. So there's a few things to go on with. We can't really go into a whole lot of examples about how to put them together, but if you use the feel, felt, found substitutes that we started with at the beginning and use a couple of these angles, you'll find that they do work together quite well.